originally came from Modern Warfare 3. I'm pretty sure you guys know what Infected is. But if you don't, I'm gonna school you on it. So Infected is basically like a limited time game mode. Originally, it actually came from Modern Warfare 3, and I actually like found out that it wasn't even a real game mode. It actually was an April Fool's joke. So like it was like an April Fool's joke, like, and they put it like in a private match. But then like the audience really enjoyed the game mode, so they turned it into a real game mode. It originally wasn't even called Infected. Infected was originally called Sickness, and basically the objective of Infected is basically you so you spawn in the lobby. It's about, I want to say, 12 to 14 players. Then you have a group of survivors, and you have a group of the infected. So basically, the infected is basically like a person that just has a melee weapon, and usually a tomahawk or some kind of throwing knife. And usually he has a tactical insurgent. Depends on what Call of Duty, but the original ones, he has a tactical insurgent. And the goals is the affected players, whoever becomes infected, which is random. At the start of the lobby, it's a countdown, and somebody randomly out of the survivors become infected, and he has to infect everybody to win the game within the time limit. And once one person becomes, once the survivor becomes infected, he becomes an infected zombie, whatever you want to call it, and he has to infect other survivors. As a team, as the survivor team decreases, the zombies grow, and basically you just have to like infect everybody to win. And basically, like, it originated from Modern Warfare, but it ever since Modern Warfare 3, it's been in every Call of Duty since. It's in Black Ops 1, not Black Ops 1. It's in Black Ops. It was in Black Ops 2, but it was a private game mode. It wasn't public. It came in Black Ops 3. It was in Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare, Call of Duty Ghosts, Black Ops 4. It was even in it's even in Cold War, I believe. World War II. So basically, it was in every COD after Modern Warfare 3. Yep, it was in every COD except from Modern Warfare 3 up, not Black Ops 1. Yes, take out Black Ops 1 because it wasn't in Black Ops 1. And basically, the premise stayed the same. I mean, each game had like a different like version of it, their own aspect of it. Modern Warfare 3 Infected, basically you had your tactical insurgents, and the tactical insurgents was basically like this tactical that you had that only the infected had, and basically it allowed you to choose your spawn upon dying. So as long as you place it down and nobody destroys it, you can respawn wherever you put that tactical insurgent at. So basically it's like infinite spawns wherever you want. And that really made Infected really fun. It made the pacing like really fast, because in addition to like the zombies or the infected, they already had crazy fast speed. They were able to move fast as an advantage, and they had the throwing knives and the tactical insurgent to make it like easier and give them an upper advantage against the survivors. Because technically, like the game mode is very balanced, very much, but it's really hard for a person with a melee weapon to kill somebody with a gun. Like, it's difficult. So in order to up the chances of the infected being able to infect the survivors, they gave the infected basically like super speed. They gave them the tactical insurgents and throwing knives to make it easier to take out the survivors. Because if you just had a knife, it would be pretty much damn near impossible. It would be really difficult. So the tomahawk and the tactical insurgent and the speed boost was like a helping hand to the infected. Then in the other Call of Duties, like every other Call of Duty had the same aspect. The survivors, from their point of view, they had random guns. Modern Warfare 3 gave you a random gun as you spawned in. You couldn't choose your loadout according to class. There wasn't any specialists or anything introduced yet. It was just basically you just got a random gun and you had perks. That's all you had against the infected. Which was fun. I mean, Modern Warfare 3 is my favorite. Is my favorite infected. It's a favorite game that had infected. Favorite version of infected, basically. Then I would say Black Ops 3 is next because of how nostalgic it was and the OG, you know, Infected with the tactical insurgents, you know, the throwing knives and everything. It was a lot more fun and it was more strategic, like than the other. In fact, my second favorite would be Black Ops 3. You know, because one thing that Black Ops 3 did differently from Modern Warfare 3 is that you were able to choose your own loadout. Because originally you weren't able to do that in the other Infected games. And the other, like, you know, Call of Duties that had Infected. All you could do is they'll give you random sets of class or let the choose default class created for you instead of being able to create your own loadout with your own weapons, attachments, you know, camos, you know, lethals and tacticals. You couldn't do that. Black Ops 3 allowed you to do that, in addition to the specialist abilities and weapons. So basically, Black Ops 3 was like the more like, I would say, evolved version of Infected because you can do so much more. And it made the Infected games a lot better. And I feel like it made it like, it gave you more of an advantage. It made it a little bit easier to survive, but not so much because the Infected still like were very, you know, they still have like an advantage with the speed. And then Black Ops 3 was also, it's a futuristic COD, so it is a fast-paced COD. So it's set in the future. So they have the jetpacks and the fast movement, the wall running. So Black Ops 3 was busting. Like, it was really fun. Black Ops 3 did do good, I mean, with their Infected, you know. And then the Infected had their own little advantage with the super speed. They had perks. Obviously, they could jump around and wall run like you could. They have tomahawks, and basically they have specialist abilities. So they have a random specialist ability they can use against you. So the playing cards are pretty fair, and I would say like the playing field and all that was pretty fair when it comes to like Infected. Whether it's Black Ops 3, Modern Warfare, or you know, Black Ops 4, it was very like equal. Well, not equal but fair. I wouldn't say equal but fair. And you know. And I was really excited to, you know, drop this second part of the video for you guys. And comment down below, what was your favorite version of Infected? Personally, like I said, it was Modern Warfare 3, then Black Ops 3, and then honestly, my third favorite, I would have to say, is Call of Duty Ghost. If anybody played Ghost, you know, Infected game mode, it was really fun. Call of Duty Ghost had Infected 2, and it's like obviously my least favorite out of Modern Warfare 3, and Black Ops 3 was my third favorite, so it wasn't terrible, but it was decent. Ghost Infected worked the same way as Modern Warfare's. They didn't have tactical insurgents though. The Infected just had, I think the Infected did have in Ghost, the Infected did have tactical insurgents and throwing knives. So yeah, Ghost was really fun because they had like the same aspects of Modern Warfare, but it's just like imagine playing Ghost, but like with the same like slow movement with the guns and everything, but like in Infected form. You couldn't choose your own loadout though. You had default classes, and the Infected, when you turn Infected, you were like these hooded guys. Like these guys were just in hoods. You were like throwing knives and stuff and tactical insurgents. So it was still very fast paced. It was really fun because of the maps. And then Ghost had some. It was one of those games to me that had potential. Ghost was okay. It was still one of my least favorite CODs, but like Infected was fun on that game. You know, you had the leaning mechanics, the score streaks, but in Ghost there weren't score streaks like in Infected. I think the only Call of Duties that had score streaks in Infected was I want to say Advanced Warfare with DNA Bomb. And then I want to say there was another Call of Duty that had the nuke. I think that was Modern Warfare 3, the MOB, not the nuke, but it's the same thing. Yeah, the MOB. Modern Warfare 3 had that. That's another aspect I loved about it. And then, if you guys didn't know, there was also another form of Infected. It was called the Juggernaut Infected game mode. Not a lot of people remember that game mode. I honestly forgot about it, you know, that it was even in the game. But I heard of it. And basically in this game mode, it was only Modern Warfare 3, it was exclusively to that game, but it was basically where people spawned in and Infected basically had guns, and the survivors were like in Juggernaut suits. And basically you have to kill the Juggernauts and turn them into like regular survivors, unsuited, you know, Juggernaut. basically you had shotguns. You had to survive with like, you know, other juggernauts and like with pistols, with like default pistols. You had like weaker guns, and then like the kicker and the advantage was like the juggernauts were just like beefy. They were very tough, and they were like very they were very armored and stuff. And then but the regular enemies weren't. They just were just regular. Or the infected were basically like they were just regular people. They didn't have armor on. They weren't armored, so they couldn't take as much damage from juggernauts. But the advantage of the survivors was that they just had the armor suits, and the advantage of the infected was that they had stronger weapons than the survivors did, the juggernaut suits. So that was another infected game mode that honestly I forgot about. If you guys didn't know about it, yeah, that was another game mode. Honestly, it was fun. Like, I don't even think I've played it before. I've just seen gameplay of it. It looked really fun, but I think I prefer the OG infected, the regular infected with just you got the survivors with the guns, and then the infected with the melee weapons. That was the better version to me, in my opinion, of infected, because it felt more authentic. It felt real. It was more fun. It really it added to the game mode when everybody's running around with melee weapons, because it really felt like you were getting infected. When somebody's running around and stabbing you, it just feels more like realistic, and it feels like more like it relates and complements like the game mode. But yeah, I definitely grew up playing infected, and I believe that infected is a staple in Call of Duty, and you can see across all the Call of Duties how the game has evolved. Infected is like a timeline. It evolved with the games, pretty much ever since it first came out. And Modern Warfare 3 came out like February, I want to say 2008 or something. Not 2008, maybe like 2012 or something, like somewhere around that time. It didn't like originate around the time the game came out. It was like years after, I want to say, like March, maybe 2012 or something. It came out because it originally started off as just a regular, private game mode, and then the public liked it. That's where they decided to make this like a real game mode. Like, a lot of game mode, I like it. They'll start off small, something private, but then if the community enjoys the game, they're gonna bring it as a public, game mode. And me personally, like, I don't even know if I was around when it, like, I was around when it first came out, but I don't even remember when it first was released. I just remember it being on there. It was just a party game mode that you can play anytime. And then I remember just playing it, and I enjoyed it. And ever since I played Infected, I just really fell in love with it, and I've always played it ever since. And every Call of Duty that I played that has Infected, I play it, which is pretty much like most of them. I never played any version of Infected though. The only versions of Infected I played was I played Modern Warfare 3, Call of Duty Ghost, and Black Ops 4. I never played World War II Infected. I never played Black Ops 2 Infected. Never played Advanced Warfare as Infected or Infinite Warfare as Infected. And I heard they were good though. They all, were different, because Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare were basically two futuristic versions. So I think it was similar to Black Ops 3 because Advanced and Infinite Warfare was both futuristic with the wall running and the jetpack. So I believe it was all similar. I mean, every Infected is obviously similar, but they run different. They have different like mechanics, but it's still like the same objective to Infected. Like some like what I will say is like the Infected across every Call of Duty is different. They all have advantages and disadvantages. Like I would say honestly I would say like the best like version of Infected, or like not the best version, but like the game that gives Infected the best advantage would be Modern Warfare 3, because they have the tactical insurgents, which allows you to pretty much infinitely and instantly spawn wherever you want. The throwing knives, then increase speed. They have an advantage according to like the game and like the era, I would say. The era of Call of Duty was, because you have the Call of Duty take place also in a certain type of era. Like Modern Warfare was like it takes place in like kind of like a modern type of like society, kind of modern, with the boots on the ground. The weapons were modern. The weapons were based off of real weapons. World War II obviously was based off of like a World War II era. You know what I'm saying? With the Germans, and the Nazis, and and the British, and then Black Ops 3 was like in the futuristic era, supposed to take place in like 2050 or something. Supposed to take place in the era with like, technology, the exosuit technology, jetpacks, wall running, holograms, specialist abilities, a more futuristic era, with futuristic, score streaks and robots that fight for you, all type of like different type of technology. This was more like the more futuristic age. Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare took place around the same time. I feel like in the same type of era that Black Ops 3 is in. Futuristic era with jetpacks and stuff, futuristic weapons and technology. I mean, even in Black Ops 3 they have weapons that shoot energy. Like I've seen, there's two weapons in this game. There's one called the Rift D9, and there's a shotgun called the Banshee. The other one's a pistol and one's a shotgun. They both shoot energy. Like that's futuristic. They basically shoot like balls of energy that insta kills enemies. So Black Ops 3 is definitely from a futuristic era. Black Ops 4 was more futuristic. It was more like a futuristic, like I would say a futuristic modern type of vibe with the stem shots, what type of weapons they had, the movement. They didn't have jetpacks, but they still had, like I would say, futuristic weapons and stuff in the game. What else? Call of Duty Ghosts was supposed to be like modern. It wasn't. Call of Duty Ghosts wasn't really that futuristic, but it was more like a modern, like serious, dark, gritty type of Call of Duty. That's what Ghost was supposed to be, with like the dark colors and the aesthetic of the maps. Didn't have like any advanced movement. They just had the sliding and they had like, it was more like Call of Duty Ghosts gave me more like a vibe, like a realistic type of Call of Duty. Like if Call of Duty was like real or based off something real, which it kind of is, but Ghost was more like on the serious side of Call of Duty. And I feel like the Infected, it matched the type of era of that Call of Duty. The Infected in that game were supposed to match the type of era of Call of Duty, whether it was like a modern, whether it was like, World War II era or style, where it was futuristic, serious, like however the style or aesthetic of the game was, the Infected, matched that aesthetic. And, Infected is like, it's one of my favorite game modes, and I used to play it often. I remember I used to play it so often. One of the things that I feel like Modern Warfare did, like, great about the Infected that, Black Ops didn't do, was they made it a permanent game mode. You can play it whenever you want. As long as there's, obviously players and stuff, as long as the servers are still online, you can still play Infected as you please. And the difference with Black Ops 3's Infected is there's a limited time game mode. So I feel like, with Black Ops 3, and it resets like every week. The game mode changes. And basically what I feel like Black Ops 3 was doing was trying to incentivize you to get on the game, more often. Because if you didn't get on the game, you wouldn't know what the future game mode would be. And it obviously wouldn't be Infected, you wouldn't know. Well, you wouldn't really know unless you got in the game. So I feel like it was a payoff for getting on the game every day, because you never know when Infected will come back around or another game mode you really enjoy. So it was incentivized with that. And Black Ops 3 just kind of different take on it. Every week they change the game mode to something else, and Infected will be in that mix. Like, I don't know how often Infected comes around, but when it does come around, you gotta enjoy it and play. Why it's this? It's a featured limited time, game mode, but it was still fun. That made it even better. The fact it was a limited time game mode, so when it came there, it felt even more special. When the game mode finally came around, the game felt all the more special to you when you played it. And that's kind of like a love-hate thing I liked about, Black Ops 3's Infected, but it definitely had an impact on me. and I was so excited to like, you know, drop him the clip. I was playing a lot of Infected, you know, when it came out, and when it finally came back to Black Ops 3, which was like maybe right now the time I'm recording this, like this was about maybe 3 weeks in the past. Yeah, the time I recorded this was like 3 weeks in the past. So it's been a minute since I played, but you know, I still want to drop this clip on you guys. And if you guys are enjoying the video, you know, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. You know, it's very much appreciated. I'd like to know if you guys are enjoying these videos or not. You know, or do you prefer just like the regular multiplayer? You know, with just me using melee weapons, or do you prefer like me playing like party game modes or like special game modes, like Infected or the snipers only playlist? Like that's another playlist I really enjoy. It's a sniper only playlist. Like, what I will say is Black Ops 3 had a lot of really fun game modes, and can't forget about snipers only. That was another game mode that like I didn't really like. I played it, but I didn't play it too often. But I kind of got into it like the more and more I played it. Even though one of my favorite feature game modes that came around, like I would say my top 3 like party or like special game modes was the snipers only. But I'll say in this order: Infected. I would say Ground War, Infected. Then I would say snipers only. Like those are my top 3 like limited time or limited edition game modes. Ground War, I love Ground War. And then I would say Infected. And then third place would be the snipers only. Those are my favorite game modes. So you know, when they brought it back around, I did it. And you know, I would love to see Infected in the future CODs. Like I know it is in Cold War, or it was there for limited time, but I would love to see them permanently add them for the future CODs, like Vanguard, or you know, there's been leaks about Modern Warfare 2 potentially being remastered. So if they remaster that, bring Infected back. You would keep so many fans happy, and I feel like you would make so much money off of that. Like if you could incorporate the game to the, you know, the game mode into the game, you keep, you know, so much of like your audience happy, keep us satisfied with what we're playing. Because you know, Call of Duty is one of those games like it's hit or miss. Every year that when they release a Call of Duty, you know, it's hit or miss. Either it's like a hit, it's really good, or it's just really bad, or you know, or sometimes it could be in the middle. It could be like, you know, mid tier. You got top tier, low tier, mid tier Call of Duty. Black Ops 3 was definitely top tier. You know, some CODs, you know, would be like lackluster, and they sometimes they may lack something. They weren't good enough. But Black Ops 3, I feel like they did everything right for the most part. You know, they had their flaws, but you know, the pros outweigh the cons with this Call of Duty. So I really want to, you know, bring this gameplay to you guys. But I do have some other bangers coming up. I do have some more videos that I'm gonna drop. You know, I'm thinking about, you know, double uploading this weekend. You know, because I haven't posted in a while. I really haven't been feeling 100%. I haven't really been feeling like, you know, in the best of mood and the high spirits of wanting to record. But I have to get back in the rhythm so I can, you know, keep dropping these videos and, you know, making my content so I can get where I want to get and reach a certain amount, reach the goal that I want to reach, and reach a certain amount of subscribers that I want to reach. You know, and then from there, keep growing. You know, keep growing till we feel satisfied with where we at. You know, like the Infected to me is my second favorite. It's really good. You know, it just doesn't have that nostalgic factor, and it doesn't have the tactical insertions. And like, I prefer, like, I do like, you know, futuristic cars with the jetpacks and everything, but I like the classic boots on the ground.